Hello, Oswego. My name is Dane Richardson. Today is the first broadcast in what will be a monthly show. Our purpose is to highlight and discuss various topics and unique opportunities within the Oswego City School District, as well as to get younger students within our district involved in the WBUC TV program. We are joined in the studio by Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Dean Guad. Thank you for being a part of our show.
Thank you. As you know, I've been working quite hard the last few years on building communication across our district and with our community. And that really started by increasing sharing information with the community. And initially I did that through a monthly column at the Palladium Times, where I showed information about things that were happening in the district. I was able to share information about the budget process and also highlight some things that we as a community and school district should be proud of. So I'm excited now to transition away from the print media and have an opportunity to work with WBUC and students at Oswego High School to share and expand on that same kind of information.
Yeah, definitely. At a recent Board of Education meeting, our internal auditor was in attendance and presented some information about the financial state of the district. Seemed to be uplifting news with financial concerns the last few years.
Right. It's interesting because when I came into the superintendency, it was right at the beginning of a pretty serious financial crisis in our district. We had been using a practice in our district where previous superintendents and boards of education, because they were advised to do so, were using large amounts of our reserve funds and to kind of artificially balance the budget. And I've talked about that over the last several years. Well, shortly before coming superintendent, the New York State Comptroller came in and warned us that if we continued that practice of using fund balance and reserves to build our budget, that our district was at risk of becoming in fiscal stress. And we weren't interested in that designation. So right out of the gate, we started building what I call revenue-based budgets, meaning that we're only going to build budgets and operate our district based on the natural revenues that come into us. State aid, pilot agreements, things like that. And we are no longer going to tap into those reserves and fund balance. Well, as you can probably remember, that created a problem for the district and a necessity for cutting not only a great number of instructional staff members and support staff, but also a wide range of student opportunities, including athletics. Well, the thrust of our audit report this month was that the tough decisions that we made 2 years ago and then again last year put us on the course of rebuilding our district financially, and now we're finding that we're in a much better position to operate our district efficiently with a right-sized approach and also have an opportunity to bring things back. So you can see this year that a wide range of our athletic opportunities, as well as clubs and team leaders and instructional support programs, are back in our district. That recovery was really due to the collaborative nature that our district has. Every employee of our district that year took salary freezes. Buck Booster stepped up and did tremendous fundraising, and we recently showed our appreciation to them at a public board meeting. And because everyone worked together, now it's time to rebuild our district. And we've been working very hard over the last 2 years to rebrand our district, to be more transparent. And shows like this are an opportunity for us to continue to do that.
Now, you said all these new programs are coming back into the Oswego City School District. Can you give me some examples of those?
Yeah. Well, everyone focuses a lot on athletics, and you're an athlete yourself, so you know that this year we were able to bring back athletic opportunities and build them actually into the budget. Last year, many of those athletics came back because of some bullet aid from Senator Ritchie, as well as significant fundraising efforts on the part of the entire community.
Absolutely.
Donations to bring back clubs, fundraising to bring back athletics, and so those things are all important, but really what we're most excited about is bringing back instructional programs, because you focus a lot on those extras, but really our mission here is to have a fully prepared and life-ready student, and that happens only when we have really good instructional programs. And that starts in kindergarten. So this year we were able to bring back 4 elementary teachers, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it reduces the class size, and most teachers will tell you that that is significant. So those are just some examples of some things that we hope to continue to do.
Definitely. Going hand in hand with our financial situation is the news of the capital project that was introduced at the end of last school year. People are very excited about this project. Can you share any more information with us?
Yes, we have a committee in our district called the Facilities Committee. And the Facilities Committee is made up of key players in our district: the superintendent, the executive director of business and finance, Mrs. Nancy Squires, as well as 3 board members. And we work with our architect and our financial advisors to come to a place where we think that we can start making significant improvements to our district, not only our facilities, but opportunities for students. But that always has to be balanced with cash flow and the way our debt falls off, so that we're being really responsible and not asking our community to support too much.
Capital project, I've known you've added some things such as I went to Kingsford Park School, some end staircases, some walls bubbling, and
Yes.
in the OHS, some band wing rooms, which can really help students become better individual musicians.
Right. There really are some things that we have to focus on in all the buildings. There's a lot of chatter about stadiums and athletic improvement, but really what we want to focus on is that as a responsible district, the first thing we have to do in a capital project is take a look at our schools and our facilities. And you're absolutely right to point out those things, because in each of our 7 schools, we have what's called a building condition survey that's done by our architect and is sent to the state education department. And that highlights critical things that need to be addressed in each of the 7 schools. And those things have to happen first, before we talk about stadiums or new tracks or things like that. So, and you highlighted a couple, there are others. The music wing at Oswego High School needs a lot of work. The locker facilities at Layton, which is really the hub of our athletics, is Layton
definitely.
Elementary School. Those are original to 1956. They've not been touched or renovated since then. It impacts not only the spirit of our own athletes, but it also impacts our visiting athletes and referees as well. At Oswego Middle School, we need to bring our exterior classroom walls up to code, because as you might recall, those classrooms don't go all the way to the ceiling. There's a glass section at the top of each of those walls. That's no longer up to code. We have to replace some classroom lockers at Riley Elementary School that are original to 1956 construction, that are rusty, and we're having 7-year-old students hang up their coats and put their lunch boxes in there. Not what we want for our kids.
Definitely get that.
And that list goes on and on. Bubbling walls at Kingsford Park, bubbling walls at Fitzhugh Park. Minetto School was originally built, the library wing, which is around 1973, was originally an open classroom concept. So the classrooms that now exist around the Minetto Library have temporary walls that are really just sheetrock and some furring strips. So we're going to address all those items first and bring our schools up to where we think they should be.
So overall, the capital project really sounds like a great opportunity to get some much needed repair in our school buildings and possibly upgrade some of the worn athletic fields.
Yes, and the second part, of course, of the capital project would be a focus on athletics and other facilities in our district. The proposed plans right now call for a stadium on the site of what is existing soccer and softball fields right on the high school property. It also calls for additional softball and baseball facilities around Layton Elementary School, and a lot of other upgrades to Buck Boulevard, parking, just a whole host of things. But right now, the Facilities Committee is still balancing the cost associated with what we can do responsibly for the community to support. At some point, we'll be reaching out to the community, asking them to support a certain amount of money to support a capital project. Then and only then can we submit plans to the State Education Department for approval. That takes a significant amount of time.
So, Dr. Guai, can you tell me what the most recent capital project you guys have been involved in?
Yes, as you know, we used to be housed in the Riverfront building, which we reference as the Education Center. It's a 4-story building on the Oswego River on the lock, beautiful setting, but it outlived its usefulness. And I pledged coming into the superintendency that we were going to sell that building. And we were going to repurpose one of our buildings, and we chose Layton Elementary School. It was the school with our lowest enrollment on the main high school campus. It was highly desirable for me and my staff to move over to a more student-centered environment. So this summer, we moved out of the Riverfront building. So all the central offices, the Office of Superintendent, the Executive Director of Elementary Education, the Office of Secondary Education and Personnel, Business and Finance, and Special Programs are now at Layton Elementary School. And that was made possible by a small capital project that the voters approved last winter. The second part of that capital project is renovating and creating a new main office here at the Oswego High School. The classrooms that are immediately adjacent to the theater in the main entrance will be renovated into the new main office. So our technology staff, Mr. Syket's staff, and infrastructure will go into what is now this high school main office. And we're finalizing now the conditions around selling the current education center.
Sounds awesome. So another question, Dr. Gui, what other ways are we using communication to get to our students throughout the district?
There's actually several things. As you probably know, I know our students and parents and staff are noticing that last year, with the guidance of Mr. Syket, we launched a brand new district website. That website is a vehicle for us to communicate with our community. More recently, we added the Buck Buzz app for smartphones, and Mrs. Bullard has been using that a lot with coaches and athletes. It's a great way to give our parents and athletes updates on events and schedules and things like that. So I would encourage everyone to use the Buck Buzz app. Additionally, we just launched the new Oswego City School District Facebook page. And that's another way to get it at those that like that type of social media environment, to get more information about what's happening in our schools. A lot of the information is similar to the website, but people have their preferences on the way that they get information. This today is another great example. We're moving away from print media, and we're bringing our communication into the school, and I'm going to be chatting with you every month and talking about things that are happening in our district.
Yeah, you're certainly setting the bar high for this district, and I think the improvements just keep coming. And speaking back to the Buck Buzz app, it is a great resource for me as well. I play varsity volleyball and basketball. I usually set it up to receive notifications from our athletics department and our AD, Ms. Bullard, for changes for games or practices, stuff like that. It's really a great resource for me and the rest of the athletes here at OHS.
Right, it pushes me to use my smartphone more now. Like, I know personally that if I want to communicate with my kids, I text them, I don't call them. So I know that young people and people across our community right now are into social media and handheld devices, so we're trying to be current.
Dr. G, thank you very much for being able to come into our WBUC studio at OHS. Looking forward to see you next month. And
thank you. It was great. My pleasure. As the second part of our monthly program, we're going to be providing an opportunity to highlight instructional programs and things that are happening across our district in all 7 schools. So now we're going to pass off to Jenna and Jack.
Thanks, Dane and Dr. Gui. I'm Jenna Bradshaw.
And I'm Jack Lee.
Welcome to our first edition of a district-wide show we're calling Around Oswego. Here at WBUC, we're so excited to be working with our elementary schools and middle school to receive footage from their students. They have shared highlights of lessons and activities of their schools that they are excited about. And students in the WBUC program here at Oswego High School worked with the footage to create what you will see today.
We've got all the classics, from kindergarten to 6th grade, from Oswego Middle School to Oswego High School.
We have a lot of stories and talent to showcase today, so why not go to where it all begins, our elementary schools.
Let's head over to the east side, where Fitzhugh Park recently hosted an open house to showcase the great things happening there.
Welcome parents and guardians to our FPS 2017 and 18 open house.
I'm Sophie and I'm here with
Ben. Let's get towards. You know that by videos that we produce called the morning announcements that your children see and watch and see what's happening in the school, like with lunch and weather and maybe other important announcements.
These videos were so good that we got on News Channel 9 last week.
Now,
this Dr. Seuss mural was created by last year's 3rd and 4th graders with the help of Mrs. Wilder.
One of the towards, you know that by
is "Oh, the places you'll go." I hope you enjoyed this mural.
This next mural was created by 3rd and 4th graders with the help of Mrs. Brancato.
Towards, you know that by towards. You know that by towards. You know that by towards. You know that by door that we have, which is open. Let's go see what Lucas and Camden are doing down there.
Camden. Down here at the school store. And every Wednesdays and Thursdays, kids can come down and get stuff at the school store, and all the money comes back to the school for school projects.
Thanks for supporting school store.
Welcome back. Lots of great stuff that we're selling at the school store.
Open 8:45 to 9 o'clock every Wednesday and Thursday. As you may or may not know, our district mission statement is fully prepared and life ready.
What we're trying to do at FPS is make almost everything student-centered.
Now you get to see some examples of mission statements that were created around the school.
Welcome back, and we are honored that you spared some of your time just to see what your students' children are doing and what they are working towards. You know that by the time they graduate 6th grade, they will be fully prepared and life ready.
Well, FITCHU certainly seems like it's the place to be.
Absolutely. Being an alumni myself, FITCHU Park has always been an amazing place with an amazing staff and amazing opportunities for students.
Absolutely. But you know, across the bridge, another elementary school is highlighting their best as well.
Oh, really?
Yes, Layton Elementary School, led by Principal Mrs. Kara Shore, invites students to highlight exciting things happening in their classrooms. And this month, students discuss some great things.
Good morning. This morning I have 2 students from Miss Mills' class, and they're going to share with us all the exciting things that they've been doing in kindergarten. I have Chris here and I have Lily. So why don't we start with you, Chris? What have you been learning in kindergarten?
I was learning about Batman words and
About Batman words. What's an example of a Batman word?
because it's about Batman's books.
So thanks for sharing that. How about you, Lily? What have you been learning? We're looking right over there, darling.
You have to plant a seed, and then when the plant grows, then leaves go on it.
Oh my goodness, how the plants grow. And what do the plants need to grow?
Water.
Water, just like us, right? Does our body need water too? So this morning I have with me 2 students from Miss Coakley's 1st grade class, and they're going to share with me all the hard work that they've been doing to fill their brains in 1st grade. So Sam, why don't we start with you? What have you been working hard on in 1st grade?
We've been learning about the story of Cinderella.
Ooh, the story of Cinderella. Tell me a little bit about the story of Cinderella.
She was a servant.
She was a servant. Good vocabulary word. Yes, she was a servant. But you, Cindy, what have you been learning in Miss Coakley's class?
I've been learning about taking away.
Taking away? Taking away what? What are we taking away?
Numbers.
Oh, what's another word for take away?
Subtraction.
Subtraction. Super. Thank you so much, Cindy. All right.
Hi, we are from Miss Taylor's 3rd grade class.
We've been learning about social studies, about the Earth, and learning about the continents and the 7 continents.
We've been learning about time in math, and we've been learning that our hand is the little hand and the big hand is the minute hand.
Every Larry King has their start somewhere. I think Miss Shore may just have a career in this.
You know, Jack, she just might.
And the students seem really excited to share what they were learning.
They definitely did. But have you been by Kingsford Park School lately?
Actually, I was just over there the other day, and I noticed a really cool-looking garden. It looked great, but I wasn't really sure what it was.
Well, it's actually a memory garden that the KPS students helped make with the help of Mr. Stanley and Mrs. Mox.
Hi, my name is Leah, and I had a lot of fun making the garden beautiful. I really liked it when I did it. I felt like it was going to be gross, but when I actually did it, It was kind of gross and not that bad. I had a lot of fun doing the memory garden with my friends.
So, hi, my name is Beverly, and I'm going to be talking about the memory garden too. So, students at KPS and Mrs. Moxley's 5th grade class of 2017, we made the memory garden nice because we cared, and we got new mulch for the butterflies, and we spread it all out, and we took out all the gross weeds, and we left the milkweed for the butterflies to snack on. Thank you. Bye.
This is about KPS Miss Moxley's class. We did the garden. This is how I felt. When we were all done with everything, it was a whole new garden. Some of the reasons why I was happy to participate is because at that time, a lot of classrooms had butterflies, especially the kindergartners. I wanted the butterflies to have a nice place to live, and I wanted people to see how we really feel about our school.
Hi, my name is Talon, and I also go to school at KPS, and I am in Miss Moxley's 5th grade class, and I also talk about our memory garden that we did, so here it is. I fixed the memory garden because I wanted to help this school and make it look nice, so when people walked by, they think, man, that garden is a nice place. Our class pulled weeds, put down mulch, planted flowers. We even released butterflies, so from now on, every time I see the garden, I'll think that's what I did. And when parents walk by on open house and parent-teacher conferences, they will say, wow, this is a nice place. Thank you for watching.
Wow, that is a really great idea.
Yeah, it's awesome that the kids just rolled up their sleeves and got to be involved in something like that.
It really is. So Jenna, a little while ago I was on the district webpage. Did you know one of the principals in Oswego was recently named Principal of the Year in Washington, D.C.?
No, I didn't. Who was it?
Oswego Middle School's principal, Miss Fierro.
Wow, what an honor. Well, there are a lot of schools in New York, so that must be a really great award.
Yeah, she stopped by the TV studio recently and talked to our very own Stephen DeMung.
Hello, I'm Stephen DeMung. The principal of the Oswego Middle School, Mrs. Fierro, was recently recognized by the New York State Association School Administrators at the New York State Middle School Principal of the Year due to her many accomplishments at the Oswego Middle School. I'm lucky enough to be alongside her today. Thanks for joining me today.
Hi, Steve.
Hello.
I'm glad to be here.
Would you be able to describe your career at the Oswego City School District?
Yes, I started out as a math teacher in this building, and I taught here for about 20 years before I entered administration. And I was actually the director of data, where I worked at the Education Center first. And then I became the principal at Riley Elementary in 2010, and 1 year later in 2011, I moved to the Oswego Middle School. So I've been the principal there for 7 years.
Oh, very interesting. Where was the ceremony, and can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yep, so there's been 2 ceremonies. I was actually recognized as the New York State Middle School Principal of the Year, and was recognized back in June in Albany at a ceremony that recognized the New York State Elementary, Middle, and High School Principal. And people from Oswego were able to go down there, so my family went with me. People from our district office and from the middle school were able to attend with me, so that was really nice. And then this past, right at the beginning of October, we traveled to Washington, D.C., where the middle school, high school, and elementary school principals from across the country, so 3 principals from each state, were recognized in Washington, D.C. at a 2-day event. And my family was able to attend with me, yes.
What types of changes have you implemented to the middle school over the past few years?
Well, we've put a lot of new programs in place. One of the ones that we're most proud of is the partnerships that we have with SUNY Oswego. It's important with a college right in your backyard that you build those relationships, and we have a very strong Mentor Scholar program. We have an after-school tutoring program with them, and we're proud to announce that beginning this fall, we are also partnering with the Mental Health Counseling Department at Oswego State to begin offering mental health counseling interns at our middle school. But it's not so much the programs that we're proud of at the middle school as it is the people that we work with at the middle school. So the students, their families, and most importantly, the middle school faculty and staff. that are truly committed to the middle level learner that have really helped us move the school in the last 7 years.
That sounds like a great opportunity for
Yes.
those students.
Yep.
What were some of the criteria that get you selected Principal of the Year?
So the National Association of Elementary and Secondary School Principals actually have a variety of criteria that they use when looking for the principals that they're going to recognize for this award. And one of the things is that the principal has to have been in their building for at least 5 years and is looking to continue in the principalship. And they have to demonstrate evidence of outstanding contributions to the community and to the educational profession, and should lead a school that is clearly committed to excellence, has programs designed to meet the academic and social needs of all their students, and has firm ties to the parents in its community.
If there is anything you will change or go about differently now that you've received the award, Principal of the Year?
Yeah, there's one thing. I learned so much from going to these events, both the one in Albany and the one in DC, because I was able to talk to other school administrators who are doing wonderful things in their buildings. And so, particularly at the national event, I was able to talk to some middle level principals, and a couple things come to mind when I think about school improvement plans for our middle school. And one is the essential elements, which is a school improvement plan that your school can partake in, and that in the end, if you are recognized as a school that really is following that plan and making improvements in each one of the domains, you are deemed a school to watch and recognized by New York State and by the National Association of Middle School Principals, or middle school schools. And I would like to begin that process. Another process that I was able to talk to a few people about in DC was the blue ribbon process. So, you know, possibly, not that we can get there any day soon, but possibly look into the process and what we would have to do for blue ribbon status.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yes.
What are some positives you see for the middle school, the school district, and the Oswego community from this award?
So like I said, we had several people from the district level travel to Albany for the ceremony that I went to, and my family was able to travel to DC with me. So we've made connections both at the state and national level with some of the greatest leaders in our field right now. So we have those people to rely on right now because they've become part of our network. But in addition to that, you know, I've been interviewed. We've had newspaper articles having to do with this. Dr. Ui has been interviewed having to do with it. People at my middle school have been interviewed. And it's always nice to have the good things that are happening in our school district out in the media as opposed to some of the concerns. So Steve, before we close, I just thank you and Mr. Bach and team for having me here today. I really appreciate that. And I also just wanted to say thank you to the people who have helped, not just me, but especially the middle school and the district win this award. And that would be my family, who's always been super supportive of me, but especially, you know, Dr. Ui and the Board of Education, who have been there for me throughout my career, really, and have been mentors to me, have believed in me. And this recognition is as much theirs as it is mine. But I especially want to say thank you to the middle school faculty and staff, because in order to be recognized for this award, we had to submit a portfolio that was probably ended up being a couple inches thick, with data from the middle school and information about the middle school and programs that we have in place and things that we're doing daily up there. And so me winning this award, I'm really just the figurehead. The people who won this award are the middle school faculty and staff, so I want to say thank you to them.
All right, thank you for coming on this show and sharing
Thanks.
some information about the award.
Thanks, Steve.
Signing off from W. Buck, this is Steven.
That's such an honor for Mrs. Fierro and her staff at OMS. We're really lucky to have such a great school district.
That greatness doesn't come naturally, as hard as it may be to believe.
I know it doesn't. Oswego schools are the way they are because of hard work, organization, and effort.
Absolutely. With strong vision and mission statements, it's easy to see why students are so successful. Let's head over to some of our other schools to see what our students think about our district's vision, fully prepared and life ready.
Good morning. This morning, who do we have with us to talk to us?
Abigail. To be prepared for life, you have to go to school and learn a lot of stuff to be ready for life.
Good morning, and who do we have with us this morning?
Octavius.
Hi, Victavius. Are you going to tell us something today that's very, very important? What are you going to talk to us about?
Life.
You're going to talk to us about life? What about life?
If you want to buy something, you're going to have to count the money.
How do you get that money?
Go to college and get a job.
Oh, but before we go to college, what do we have to do first?
finish school.
Yeah, we have to finish school, right? So what are we doing right here at Layton School to help get us ready to go to college someday?
Learn about math. We're reading the book Woman. We're reading Thank You, Mr. Fokker.
Good morning. And who do we have to speak to us this morning?
Cassandra.
Cassandra. And Cassandra, what are you going to talk to us about today?
Being fully prepared in life ready. It means that you have to go to school and you have to learn about things, so when you get up into higher grades you understand, and when you graduate from college you can actually know what you're going to have to do next when you're not in school anymore and you're going to try and get a job.
So what I think it means to be fully prepared and life ready is that it's completely subjective. So whatever field you want to go into, like, you have to get the things that you need to do that.
What I think it means to be fully prepared and life ready, though I don't believe that you could ever really truly be ready for life, is that you know what you want to do and what will make you happy, what the resources you need are and how to get them, and to just live life, because you can never really be ready for it.
That really is a great motto to live by, but it definitely takes a lot of hard work, starting from a young age.
It sure does. And all that work ends up right here at Oswego High School.
But you know, that work doesn't just apply to academics. It applies to our sports teams here, too.
It definitely is. With our winter sports season approaching, we recently caught up with some of our athletes to reflect on last year's season, as well as to discuss their upcoming seasons.
It's that time again, Oswego, time for snowstorms and icy roads. We're all familiar with the terrible Oswego weather, but the highlight of this dreary season is definitely our winter sports.
This upcoming winter season, the common theme between boys hockey and girls basketball is optimism. Senior varsity basketball player Adeline Benjamin is excited for this upcoming season, with her #1 focus being on beating JD, coming off last year's 16-6 record.
I'm very optimistic about this year. Like I said, even though we're young, I feel like we're going to be really good. And obviously, JD is the best team in the area, but I think we'll battle against them.
On the boys' side, the hockey team continues to rebuild under head coach Kevin Ahern. Last season showed a promising 9-9 tying with Portland Homer and Whitesboro. Junior Alec Carocchio and sophomore Jack Rice look forward to another strong season.
We'll take from last season the hard work and effort and put it towards this season with a few new players. We'll be a young team, but we'll do all right. We'll work hard. Can't count us out for that.
Make sure you come out to support these teams when they arrive at home, starting on November 28th, when the boys varsity hockey takes on against Ithaca at the Fort, and on December 5th, the girls varsity basketball take on against FM in the Layton Gym.
Around the district, many other teams look to have strong seasons as well, such as modified basketball, boys swim, indoor track, and girls hockey. Remember, the middle school has 2 winter seasons, so the seasons run shorter. Be sure to get out and cheer on the future of Oswego sports. That's all from WBUC Sports. Signing off, I'm Tori.
And I'm Trent.
And good luck to all Oswego Buccaneer winter sports.
Well, that definitely got me excited for some winter sports to start.
Me too. Well, that's all for our show this month.
Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in next month for another edition of Around Oswego.
Have a great month, Oswego.